Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
So what I think you were saying there, just make sure I understand. What happens when, or what do you do when someone comes in, they think they have someone told them they get complimentary personal training sessions, and they're trying to squeeze out of you an extra workout or something like that, or try to give you to make them a program for free or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but I have it was kind of like initially I said what we're meeting is a free meeting.
Did you set up the meeting yourself or somebody else?
Yes, I set it up.
Okay.
So I went on the floor, talked to him, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is a free
Okay. So
complimentary
first thing,
one.
never use the word free ever.
Okay,
Free, subconsciously they'll think there's no value in it, right? You can use
right,
complimentary if you want to, but I wouldn't use anything. I'm gonna say come in here and we'll talk about your fitness goals or just describe what you're going to be doing, right? As opposed
right,
to or you can use the word consult or something if you'd like. I don't like labeling it. We're gonna talk about your goals, but just describe what you're going to be doing, right? But never use the word free. You can use
okay,
complimentary if you must, but never use free. I don't even bring up that. They're going to get the value. They're going to feel the value. So if I set them up for that, they're automatically thinking in the back of their head, the psychology is, I'm not going to be spending any money, right? This will be free. And
right.
there's no value in it. It's two things you're setting yourself up to overcome already. It's two obstacles you just put into place already. So you
Mhm.
don't have any obstacles. So that's the first thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, and then I kind of used the process. I said, oh, it's gonna be personalized. I asked questions where, okay, he understood why he needed help.
Yeah.
So what he was doing was he was just looking up on YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want you to get hurt. And I asked him, what do you think is gonna happen after? Because he just started going to the gym. I
Yeah.
asked him, what do you think is gonna happen after 3 months? After, I don't know, you reach your goal. Are you gonna keep doing the same thing? So he kind of realized, okay, he needs me
Right.
to change it up.
Yeah.
And he wanted a program.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of said, oh, I can't just give it to you right now. It's not free, right?
Right.
That's
Well,
kind of like the gist of it.
okay. So you do the right thing, right? You're not going to give your shit away, right?
Right.
Um, what you would do is again get them sitting down. Don't have that conversation on the floor. Don't have it standing up. Have the conversation sitting down, because then you can take it anywhere you want to. You got his undivided attention. Like, oh, so you want me to build you a program? All right. Well, so let me tell you how it usually works. So people come in, they get a comment, and just explain how the process normally works for most people, right? So I'm assuming you met this guy on the floor. You started having a conversation one way, shape, or form about what he was doing. Maybe he came up to you, right? And all of that is going to inform you. The dynamics of how you met is going to inform you how to approach it, right? But generically speaking, if I'm sitting down with him, I'm gonna say, okay, so you want me to you want to program? Okay, well, so let me kind of explain to you how it works. Two things you want to explain to them. One, first of all, how training works to start with, right? So the human body, people come in and think they just jump on random stuff. Well, they get random results, right? Training is a science. There is a scientific methodology. It's the OPT model. If you're an NASM certified trainer, right? OPT model. There's phases of training. Every phase is going to cause the acute variables to change. And write them out for them. Show them how it works. At first, 4 to 8 weeks, you're going to be doing this, and this is why we're doing this. The next phase, we're doing this, and this is why we're doing this. And the acute variables change. The reps change. The types of exercises that we're doing change for a reason. We're laying the foundation down, and we're building on that. So it's a science so that you're not plateauing. We're not wasting time. It's very systematic. There's a reason why we're doing it. Now, I'm giving a whole lot of value there. The guy is automatically thinking, shit, I can't do this shit by myself. And now he knows that you're not going to be doing that in one teaser workout or designing him a workout like that. That's not how
Mhm.
that's going to work, right? Now, what he can do, right, and you're not going to drop this right away. You're going to try to get him to invest in the full Monty. But what you can do is look, first, as I always said, you show them what they're getting first. The one-on-one, right? Explain that, why that's important, how that's different than classes. Also, that you're going to show them how to perform the exercises and they can do it later in the week. They don't have to be with you all week. A lot of people think with training, you got to be there every day. You don't have to. Days I'm not with you, you're going to know exactly what to do. I'm going to write down, I'm going to show you how to do it, and we're going to be in communication. We text, 24-hour access whenever you want. Secondly, nutrition. I'll guide you, blah, blah, blah. Third one, customized workouts. Huge value. This is not this guy's workout. This is your workout. This is made for you, and it's progressed over time. So what we're doing in 6 months, 12 months, you don't have to worry about the science of it. I'll cover that. All you got to do is show up and do it. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So in the days I'm not with you, drop the seed, you're going to know what to do. Now, later on, if he says, "Oh, I don't have that money. Can you just make it for me?" Then you say, "Hey, look, I tell you what. So pricing and circuit. Let me prove it to you. I'm not going to kill you on price. All right. So I can do it this way. All the stuff I showed you before. Now, this will only work if you're committed to it. How? And this is how I lead into it. One, how I give him an out. How dedicated are you if somebody's not with you? Like if somebody's not with you all the time, are you pretty dedicated? Can you follow through with something if you have a plan? Now, he's obviously going to say yes because that's what he's trying to get to. You're setting a trap,
Right.
right? Yeah. I can follow it. I can follow. Okay. All right. Well, if you're not committed to this, like you're just saying it's not going to work, one, because I've had people do this and it crashes and burns. It's not expensive, all right? It's not expensive at all, but you got to stick through it because I'm not going to be with you as often one-on-one. So remember all these things I told you. This is the same program. You're going to get all the same stuff I told you, plus the customization. I'm going to design your program like you want it. But instead of meeting twice a week, we'll meet every other week or whatever you want to drop to. And I'll always allow yourself another drop after that in the back of your head in case you need to use it. So maybe you start with every other week or once a week or whatever, and you keep dropping. You always have a couple drops in the back. All right. And so it's not going to cost you that much, but you have to do it. Would that be better for you? Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on what. Okay. Well, again, it's not going to be expensive, but you build all the value first. So he's thinking, oh, this is going to be really expensive. Then you say you drop, all right, well, if it's every other week, it's $100 or something, right? That's essentially what it would be, $100 a month. All right, well, I could do that. All right, but you got to stick with it. Cool. And you can just start, then fine, we'll start for 3 months. And then you can do more after that if you want to. But the whole point is you got to stick with it. You commit to that. You follow me? And you're going to have to do everything I tell you to do when I'm not with you because you're not doing a full program and meeting with me as often as my other clients. But if you're telling me that you can stick with it, then we can do this because I told you I'll find something to price. But you gotta give me something. You see what I'm doing there?
Right.
This is after showing them how it works in terms of the human body. It's showing them how it usually works when they come in the gym. You don't get anything for free anyway. What you're doing is a complimentary consult to show you what you need. And then most people end up buying it because they see the value in it and they need it. I'm giving you everything that you're doing. It has value. It's customized for you. And then when you decide to commit to your workouts, because working out in itself is a commitment. So you're committing to me and I'm committing back to you, right? So it's just a conversation about fitness. That's all. And about behavior modification and about they're going to have to commit to the workouts anyway to get results, whether they commit to you or not. So if you're going to commit anyway, you might as well do it the right way. All right. I mean, you just bought a Ferrari. Yeah, I know you're paying $70 a month or whatever. All right. Well, you can afford another $100 to do it right, can't you? You see what I'm saying? So there's all kinds of ways to approach it, but you always want to show them what they're getting, explain that situation, what's going to happen in terms of this is what a program looks like. It's going to be you would draw it out for them. Show them the OPT model, what they'll be doing. Show them how the acute variables change. Show them what a sample workout looks like when you're doing functional training or stabilization phase or whatever, so they can see it's a lot different than what they're used to doing. You have everything built into the workout, and I cater this around where you are right now. And your muscle imbalances, all the assessments we do, it's a science. This is the reason why some people get in shape and some people don't, because they're doing random stuff. See how much value I'm building doing that?
Right.
So that's how you want to approach someone like that, right? Don't let them bully you. Just show them what they're getting, and they're going to see the value themselves. If they're expecting that for free, then, I mean, come on.
Okay.
You got to show them value, right? Anytime they're talking about price, you got to redisplay value. And selling isn't telling. Selling is asking questions and showing them, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. How do you, what is it? I have had examples like that's after say R2. They got the example they got the experience, they they got the testing, right?
Hmm.
It seemed like they like it, but when the price shows up and they're kind of like, oh, it still seems like a problem. Does that make sense?
So the whole time they give you indications that they like what you're doing, right?
Yes, and they came back for the second one.
Right. So again, they're not seeing the value,
Oh,
and
okay.
you're too nice. You're too nice. You're too easy to say no to. That's the other thing,
Okay.
right? And I don't mean you got to be a dick. And that's not what I mean. What I mean by that is
Right.
you're conducting the ship, right? That you know that they need you. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's kind of the attitude. It's like, without saying it, you've shown them all this stuff. It's a given. You're assuming that they need help because they need help. And
Right.
it's not a matter of if they're going to do training. It's a matter of what packages they're going to get. And if you present it well, they're going to get a larger package. If they don't do it after the second, well, it's been nice or whatever. Again, if you sell it the first time, you don't have to worry about that second one. The second one you're going to use for assessments anyway. And then it'll be a nice
Mhm.
bonus. And by the way, you commit today, you're going to get the second one anyway, right? Or don't even say that. Oh, and by the way, guys, so the next one, because after they sign up, all right. So the next one we're going to schedule is going to be for your assessments. By the way, that doesn't cost you anything. That's part of your program. That's complimentary. So that does not count against your sessions, right? Now they feel great about it
Right.
because they feel like they got a bonus. But they were going to get that anyway. It was the R2, right? But the way you worded it, the
Right.
way you presented it is a lot more value.
Is that kind of how you answer the price question when they directly ask you how much it is? Do you just kind of go, oh, it depends on whatever package you get?
I'm sorry, say again.
It it happens a lot where kind of like they ask you directly, oh, how much would it be?
Right.
So do you answer
When at the
it depends
beginning?
on the package you get or
You say at the beginning before you've taken them through the sales presentation or the results appointment or whatever, right?
yeah, sometimes or
Okay.
even during it.
Okay. Well, even maybe during. Well, anytime they start asking about price and you haven't displayed it, so if they're asking right in the middle of the process, they might be
Hmm.
trying to cut to the chase. They might be getting bored,
Right.
right? That's usually what that indicates. So you have to re-engage them. Anytime you see anybody checking out, you can look at their eyes, or they're looking around, or the body language is poor. Re-engage them. Start asking them very personal questions, right? Because when people start talking about themselves, they got to participate again. And they like talk about themselves. That's the other thing, right? So
Okay.
re-engage them. Ask them questions they have to think about. Ask them questions that are dynamic and interesting, right? Or make a
Mhm.
joke or whatever. Just do what you got to do. Start to entertain. Whatever you got to do to re-engage them because they're checking out. And so,
Right.
if they're talking about if they're doing it in the middle of it, it's probably because they're cutting to the chase. They're getting bored. They're checking out, right? Or they're on the clock
Hmm.
or what have you, right? So in that case, you're going to handle it the same way as you would handle it if they said it before you ever meet them. Now, if they're asking buying questions like what the price is before you even sit down with them, that's usually a good sign because they're asking buying questions. Wow, great, right? And it could be a good sign that they're asking that in the middle. It could be they're asking buying questions because you've gotten them so excited. That could be a positive sign. Look for context
Hmm.
clues, right? Look for body language. Look, that's going to tell you the conversation up to that point is going to inform you of what that context is. Why are they saying that? Are they saying it because they're bored, they're checking out, and they're cutting to the chase? Are they saying it because wow, they're seeing so much value in this right now that they're asking questions? And of course, that's going to tell you how to handle it. But generally speaking, what I would say is, it depends on. I was like, oh, we'll get to that, but it depends on what you choose. I mean, there's a huge range, right? But I'll put it to you this way, Juan, just like I said before. Guan, I always say your name wrong. I apologize, my friend. Um, I've never not anybody that needed help, which is essentially to say everybody that comes in here, quite honestly, even the people who think they know what to do it, and I make a joke out of it. Every single person's ever been coming. I've never, ever, the hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people I've met, I've never not been able to get somebody help when they needed it. I will find you something that works for you. As long as you're committed to your workouts and you're serious about your goals and you're not here to waste your own time or mine, I will find you something. How does that sound? And I'm about to get to that anyway. I just want to finish this up with you real quick because there's some other stuff I think you should know and just kind of show you what you're getting. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? And then you build
Right.
value depending on how anxious they are, or how whatever it is, that's how you're going to play it. But you really want to try to finish that sales presentation if you can, and then reestablish the value. Go over your the recap, show them what they're getting, then close. Does it make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? Did I confuse you? I know I'm throwing a lot at you.
Yeah, I just gotta process it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, all this takes practice, man. So I
Mhm.
mean, it'd be good if you and I were to be able to sit down in person. I know you're not at the other club anymore, but um, I mean, because the role playing is really where you learn this stuff
Right.
and doing it. I mean, I can give you principles and things like I'm doing now, but if we role play, and there's certain role plays we can do, right? But I mean, I'll give you an example. We can role play this. Hey, one, yeah. So what does this cost me anyway, man? Because this is great and all, but what's the price? Bottom line. Now, you see what I just did there?
Uh-huh.
From what I said and everything that you absorbed by paying attention to me, what indication did you get? What was I telling you? What did you pick up from me there?
You you weren't interested, you kind of like, how do I say it? Hmm. It I'm not gonna like, we're not gonna go to the bottom line. I don't think I probably have to go through the process with you.
Well, it depends, right? But
Right.
what I was giving off, and you'll see this, I don't know, 10% of the time, you typically get this sort of approach from a very analytical, logical man,
Right.
right? He wants to cut the bullshit. Maybe he's a sales guy himself.
Hmm.
Maybe he's really under a time constraint and he's not trying to be rude, but he's got to get out of here. Could be any number of things, but that's when you're going to see it the most. And occasionally you'll see that from women too. They'll say, they're very blunt to the point, right?
Hmm.
So those tend to be analytical people, tend to be very blunt. So you be blunt back. So you got to be you got to be analytical and logical back. Speak on their level. You get that from accountants a lot, where everything's bottom line money, right? Where you get
Uh-huh.
there like I'm an accountant or whatever, they know their math. So if you make it make sense to them mathematically, and where it makes sense to where the return on their investment is going to be outstanding, then they're going to see value in it, right? That's how you approach it. So every little thing that somebody tells you is giving you something. What I just gave you was, hey, I'm a guy. I'm probably analytical. I'm probably very logical. I am because you saw the way I approached you. You may not know why yet. Maybe I am restrained for time, but that's what I would have gathered from what I just said. Does it make sense? Now,
Right.
if I said something like this, let's say it's something else. All right. Oh man, I like all this. This is great and all. I mean, you're really great. It's a lot of information. It's really, really cool. It's definitely different than a lot of gyms I've been through. But I guess like I don't know. I wasn't really expecting this, and I don't know what does something like this cost. What do you get out of me then? You see how it was different? I asked the same question, but the context clues are different, aren't they?
Okay.
You see what I did there? What would
Uh-huh.
you have gathered? What would you have deduced from what I just said there, or how I said it? Maybe even.
You hmm. Y- You're more in, is it like more you're interested in, you're less turned off? Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, it may be. I mean, what I would have gathered from them. By the way, these are real life examples. You're going to encounter. You've probably already encountered this quite a few times.
Yeah.
But encounter the previous one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just don't know what to, I don't know, think of it, because I never like judge, I guess, or like interpret them.
Mhm.
Is that
Well, the first one you're going to get less often.
right?
This one though, you're going to get quite a bit. Okay. From it could be from let's say it's like somebody who maybe not very confident in the gym, maybe doesn't really know what they're doing, but you can tell by the way I said it, like maybe they see value in it, but it's just like, oh God, this is going to cost me something. Maybe they really don't have the money, right?
Right.
Maybe they don't, right? You don't know yet. You're going to find out. You don't have to ask them. You build the value again.
Hmm.
You say, look, and if you read between the lines, you think it's that. It's like, look, if you haven't done this sort of thing before, you have good rapport. You haven't done this sort of thing before. I know that people come in a lot of times, and just level with them, get in their own shoes. I don't know what you're feeling like, but I know a lot of people come in. I feel this way sometimes, where you need some help. You really like what you said. You like what I'm offering here, or what we're offering in terms of information and all that. But I'm getting that, like, there's a concern. You could bring it up a million different ways, right? If you have that rapport built. But the bottom line is, you want to empathize with them, and then you want to build the value again. And then, like, look, reiterate, I will find you something. I've never not been able to find somebody something if they need help. I will find you something. How does that sound? Okay, well, I would like help. It's just, all right, well, let's start off with something simple. And then you can kind of go present them something. Is that too much? Just be, and you can say to somebody, but just be honest with me. I'm going to find you something. I'm not here to, I'm here to find you what's appropriate to you, right? I just want to make sure it's enough to make sure it's helping you. We're not going to just choose one just to choose one. We want something that's appropriate to you. But I'll find you something. So let me ask you some more questions, and then we'll go from there. How does that sound? Okay, now you've reestablished. Now it gives you an opportunity to customize again, opportunity to build value, opportunity to show them what you have in mind, and then leave yourself a couple drops later. But only pick something that's appropriate for them. You're not going to pick something that's not appropriate, right? Just trying to sell something. But you're also not going to shortcut them either because it's cheap, right? I mean, the good news about being a trainer is it is your own business. If you need to give them something complimentary or extra or spend more time, you can do that if you needed to. But you don't need to, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're getting so much value anyway.
Okay.
So is any of that helpful?
Yeah.
It's really been
Empathize with them, or like reason with them.
You got to read between the lines. Everything
Yeah.
they're giving you, man, is you got to play up. So the way that they say it, how the body language is when they're delivering it, what they've said to you up to this point. Buyers are liars, right? They're not a lot. Sometimes they're embarrassed, or a lot of times, whatever. And so they may not tell you the truth. Why? Because they see you as this nice guy, spent all this money. I mean, spent all this time with them, and they don't want to tell you the truth because they don't want you to feel like you wasted your time, or they want to let you down easy or whatever. But if you've been conducting the ship the whole time, they're going to be more upfront with you, but they still might not tell you the truth. So you have to read in between the lines. They're not going to tell you the truth 90% of the time. You have to read between the lines. You got to know this is a price concern. Remember, there's only really one concern, which is the commitment concern. We've talked about that. If they're committed, the price won't be an issue. If they're committed, then time won't be an issue. Spouse won't be. None of it will matter if they're committed to their workout routines and they want to do it the right way from the beginning. If they're going to do it right, you might as well do it right from the beginning, because you're one of the 1 out of a million people that actually come back to ask for help after 6 months who didn't quit, right? You've wasted 6 months. But if you're going to do it right from the beginning, then that doesn't happen. You don't waste any of your time, and you didn't quit on top of it. So if you're going to do it right, Mrs. Jones, you might as well do it right at the beginning. Am I wrong? Might as well get off on the right start and not waste any time. Because if you're going to quit, when is it going to be? It's going to be in the first couple 3 months. And I'll give you another one they give you all the time. They'll say something like this. You get this, I know, which is, let me think about it. I want to try it on my own for a while. Okay, well, that's a cop-out, right? That doesn't make any sense. So let me help you understand this, Mr. Jones. So you want to wait. Now, you've told me so far that you put this off for a while. Is that true? That's what you told me. All right. Or you've never done it before, or whatever the case may be. And you don't really know what you're doing, but you're not going to say it in that way, right? But you want to wait. And what would be the purpose of waiting? In the fitness world, what is a fitness program? Now, we've talked about lifestyle, developing a lifestyle, establishing commitment, establishing a lifestyle, behavior modification. We talked about that. You agreed that we had to do that, and you had trouble with this in the past. So what's going to be different this time? If you're going to wait again, what is the fitness world? What is a fitness routine known for? Notorious for? Problems with commitment, problems with procrastination, problems with putting it off. So now what you're saying to me is you're suggesting that it's better that you put it off again before you get help. That's what you're suggesting to me. I want to be clear about that. That's what you're telling me. So you're going to wait longer to commit to it again, right? So here's the thing, Ms. Jones. Now, I from dealing with people, thousands of people doing this, it's all about human behavior. We're all the same. We're all going to do the same things. What happens in the first 2 to 3 weeks of when you get started again? Are you sore? Are you sore, Mr. Jones?
It'll be like, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, well, that
all
kind
the
of
time.
sucks, right? Are you seeing a lot of results in the first 2 or 3 weeks, typically from your experience?
It'll be like, yes and no.
Not really, right? You might have some energy back, right? But you're not really seeing anything in the mirror, right? Something that's going to really keep you going, right? So you're
Mhm.
sore. You're not seeing a lot of results yet. You've already said you don't really know what you're doing out there. You just kind of do default to random stuff. You're going to try it on your own, right? Random machines, random classes, just sort of random and hoping you're going to get there. I gave you an analogy earlier, which I would have, about this. You're on this huge flag or on this huge treasure map. X marks the spot, and you're trying to do a blindfolded and get there every single day. Is that going to happen? What are the odds of that? Probably not very good, right? That's really what you're expecting from yourself. No one could do that. I'm not saying that you couldn't, but that's a lot to expect from yourself, isn't it? So what you're trying to suggest to me, I think, is you want to wait and see procrastination in a fitness world. You're sore, you're not seeing any results, and you're suggesting to me that you're going to continue, and then you're going to come back to me and get help. Is that what you're saying? Do you feel like that makes sense? Can I offer you? I tell you what, are you open minded? Can I offer you a different way of doing it? And it doesn't have to be anything serious.
Mhm.
What if we start off, okay? Commit to whatever you want to. Doesn't make any difference to me how big or small the commitment is. I don't care. Just commit to something so that we're not like half-heartedly going through this again, because that's the definition of insanity, expecting a different result and doing the same thing. Let's do something at least a little different. Can you commit to something? Any of the ones that I showed you, any of them sound good. I don't care which one it is. It makes no difference to me. Then, okay, well, once a week. All right. Why don't we just do 2 months? Can you do 2 months of that? Can you commit to that? After that, we'll revisit it. We'll have the same conversation, whatever's good to you. But at that point, we're past the soreness period. We're probably seeing some results at this point. You know exactly what you do in the gym because I'm going to program for you. And you're going to be having a good time because I'm with you. Come on. Right? Who's going to say no to that, Juan? Right? And if you have to
Right.
drop again, you drop again. All right. Well, I'll tell you what then. 2 sessions. Can you do 2 sessions? Or just drop it? We'll drop one more. Do 1 month then. That's 4 sessions. Can you commit to 1 month? I don't know. I tell you what. If it's really about money, I told you I'm going to find you something. 2 sessions. Can you do 2 sessions for God's sakes? I'll give you the money myself if it's that much. 2 sessions. After that, if you don't want to do it anymore, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you didn't, then we'll cancel it. That's it. You don't have to do it anymore. But at least you're getting jump started, because if somebody's going to quit, when's it going to be? Everyone quits in the first 3 weeks to 3 months because they're sore, they don't see any results, and they don't know what they're doing yet. So this will at least make sure that you don't quit through that period. How does that sound? Who's going to say no to that?
Right.
If you've done a good job up to that point, who's going to say no to that? Does it make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Am I confusing? Dude, I know I'm throwing a lot at you.
I'm 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 just like thinking how maybe that would go about from past experiences.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
you've seen that before, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I'd seen it. I'd seen it
exactly.
all the time. I know exactly what you mean.
Yep.
And
Now,
I'm like thinking, oh,
well, I tell you something else you can do. That there's a video that I have on the YouTube channel. It's the
mhm,
rebuttals one. Okay,
right.
the rebut. It's like 45 minutes, but it's about rebuttals. Now, the point isn't so you get a bunch of rebuttals. That's not the point. The point of watching the video, besides just the rebuttal piece, is that it shows you how to inhabit the other person's psyche. It shows you how to
Oh,
empathize with them and then get in their shoes so that you know what they're thinking, right? And if you know what they're
mhm,
thinking, then you can have the appropriate response, right? Because you don't know what to say unless you know what they're feeling or what they're thinking, right? So it
right.
helps you inhabit what their psychology might be at the time, and then you can act accordingly or respond accordingly. Much more
Mhm.
likely you're going to close the deal because at that point you don't have to tell them what to do or what to think. You can just ask them the question and lead them where you know that they're thinking, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch that, because that's it's kind of redundant. Like a lot of my stuff, I purposely make things redundant a lot of times. Sometimes it just happens to be redundant,
Mhm.
but so that you know what things are important, and then you can make sure you go over it again and again and again, and you really solidify that in your mind. right?
Okay. Is it called using rebuttals?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called using rebuttals. And it'll be really helpful for just watch what I do because and this is part of the course. Like so part of the book, part of the course is
Hmm.
I take you through this scenario. And it's a ridiculous scenario. Okay. It's something that no one would put you through. One out of 100 people might put you through this, right? It's not like so it will
Right.
never get harder than this, right? But I do it on purpose.
Right.
So how ridiculous it is and how far you want to take it as a sales guy. You can take it to extremes because if you know what they're thinking, the psychology, you're not going to let anybody out logic you, and you're going to still be using emotions. So it's identifying where they're coming from, and then knowing what to say to them, what they want to hear. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that it's going to lead them to make them feel comfortable enough to invest in you, to commit to it. Remember, they got to commit to themselves anyway. They got to commit to a workout program, or they're wasting their time and money. You're preventing them from doing that. So they got to commit to something anyway. They might as well do it right the first time.
Okay.
And if you
Now,
believe that, they're going to believe that. But you got to believe that too.
right. So in situations where how do you they already commit to themselves, how do you make them commit to you? That's kind
Well,
of
at
what I
that
was
point,
thinking.
it's
Yeah.
about you're the solution, right? If they're committing to themselves, the next viable thing is they're committing to you, right? By choosing one of the packages, they're committing to you. They're
Uh-huh.
committing to you just by having an appointment. You know
Okay.
what I mean? They're committing to you because you're likable. They're committing to you because you're the one who brought them all this information. So if they're saying yes to it, to the package, they're automatically committing to you.
Okay.
You don't have to say me. Remember, I always use the pronouns we, us, and our
Uh-huh.
because this is a team. We've made the assumptive close the entire time that we're going to be working together, right? Everything we use in our language is about we're going to be working together without saying it out loud, right? All our language, all our verbiage, everything we do in that sales presentation is literally about that's the next step. I'm assuming you're going with me. Why you can't do it without me anyway, kind of sort of thing, right?
Hmm.
Without saying that, I assume you're going to do it. Why would you be here, right? Why are you going to be here? Why would you invest in the gym if you're not going to do it right? Why would you be sitting in my office spending an hour of your time just doing assessments or something? No, you want to get something out of this. We're going to do it right the first way. We're going to be thorough. I remember the way that I do this is I set needs, I set expectations at the beginning when I first meet them. By the way, I just did a video for that I need to post and watch that one too. It'll be like
Like,
intro. It's the intro portion of when you first meet somebody. So the sales
okay.
process, you got all those, the 10 different things, steps you take, right? Well, the intro and setting expectations is very important because it sets the tone for everything else later on, right? So,
Okay.
so watch that as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video for each separate phase of the sales process so that you'll have that. So watch that too. I'll post that. Maybe I'll post that tonight, but I'll definitely watch the rebuttal one because you'll see what I'm talking about. It's totally ridiculous. And if you need the actual writing, like the coursework where I use that as a script in the video, then you'll see what
Mhm.
I'm talking about, right? I have that as well, but that's very important because what that's going to do is, that's going to really show you how to inhabit their emotions and inhabit what they might be feeling in any given scenario. And then you can take it anywhere you want to because no one's going to sell me on they don't need help with fitness. No one's going to sell me on they don't need fitness because I know fitness. I know what it's going to entail to get these results. And nobody can do all those things by themselves. So, they're spinning their tires.
Mhm.
Unless they're doing this as a job 24/7, they're like in the competitions or something, right?
Right.
Your average person is not going to be able to do that. Is there any other videos you want me to make?
Um, I'm gonna watch the set expectations first
Yeah, I'll put that up tonight and watch the
because
rebuttal
I'm
as well.
uh from that I haven't watched it. I don't know if it's gonna be answered, but I'll watch it first and I ask you after because I was gonna ask,
Sure.
are most the expectations when you set making that part of the sales process, is it all the same different for every individual, or is it all the same? Does that make sense?
Um,
when you make the
well,
when
the
you set?
video will kind of tell you some of that, but generally speaking, just in general with the sales process, there's certain things I always hit. There's a structure, and then within that, I let the situation sort of dictate, let the person dictate, depending on what I think they need to hear or the conversation we've been having up to that point. But in terms of the specifically the intro or the setting expectations portion, I usually do something like this: introduce myself, make a joke, right? Crack a joke,
Mhm.
feel the other person's energy, feel what they're giving back to me, see what kind of person I'm kind of dealing with, and then I respond accordingly. And then I say something like, "Hey, is this your first time here? You know, how do you like the gym? Blah blah blah." When I sit down with them, I say something like, every single time, "Did they tell you what they're doing?" Because a lot of times these appointments arrive to us because someone else set the appointment. So did they
Right.
tell you what we're doing? Sometimes I do, sometimes I do. I'll make a joke out of it. No, I don't really know what I'm getting to. All right, that's all right. I'm going to tell you here in a second. No big deal. We'll have fun. Don't worry. Again, very low key. I don't want them to feel intimidated. I want to know. I know what they're feeling, right? It's like the first day of school for them. It's intimidating sometimes. So I'm going to put them at ease right away. This is going to be different. This is not going to be a cold call. Sales. It's not going to be salesy. It's going to be I'm chilling with this person needs my help. Is I'm making a relationship with. Then what I'm going to do is say, I don't want you to have a one size fits all approach, right? I'm going to make sure this is geared to you. So I'm going to ask you some questions, obviously, but um, you know, and I usually say something like, "Have you done this sort of thing before, or is this sort of new for you?" Right? And then I know what I'm dealing with now, right? And then I know how to gear the presentation. And then I say, "All right." I say this every single time, no matter what, never fails. Guan, what is every gym? The reason why we're really meeting is this, essentially. What is every gym on the planet notorious for? People starting, people stopping. The January procrastination syndrome, right? Everybody comes in January, you see him for 3 weeks or 3 months, and you never see him again, right? Have you ever been there? Most people have, right? So nobody comes in wanting to quit, right? They come in, they're excited, they're pumped up. I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm really going to follow through. I'm going to give results. And then they come into a gym or they start a fitness routine any way, shape, or form, and they go, "Oh crap, now what? Now what do I do?" Well, quite naturally, they're going to default to whatever their comfort zone is. For most people, random machines, random classes, random. See what I'm doing there? I'm explaining something I'm describing something they've probably already been through before. They probably don't want to go back to again, right? So the idea, one, is that if I can sit down with someone they're brand new, in this case you, we go for our goals very specifically. The more specific, the better. Understand why we're doing it, which is the most important thing. That's the driving one. And at some point, I'm going to do a lot of assessments. So that way we can make it a science, right? We're taking it from the abstract and we're bringing it down to us specifically. So we have enough information that we can build something for you specifically so that you know what you're doing. The idea is really this. I never want you to feel like you're ever here ever again, not knowing what to do, right? Does that make sense? If you need more help,
Mhm.
we have that. That's why I dropped the training seed. But I never want you to feel like you're never here or you're ever here again going, "What do I do?" Ever. I don't want you to feel lost ever again. Does that make sense? Now
Yeah.
they're like, "All right, yeah, that's one. I've set expectations. Now I go right on to the needs analysis. Bam. Right? That is beautiful. You've laid the foundation, you've dropped some seeds, you've shown some empathy, you've built some rapport already, you're bullshitting with them. There you go. Also, I mean, this thing's about to time out on us. Can I use this video for my site? That way you can
Sure.
go back and check it and anybody else can see it. Do you mind if can I get your permission to do that?
Go ahead.
Okay. So check out that video, man. If you have any other questions in the meantime, because it's going to come out cut out in a minute, simply send me a text. We'll discuss it again and we'll schedule for another time. It'd be cool if we can meet in person somewhere at some point, because then I want to go role play this stuff with you. It's really kind of hard to do through this, although we can try. If that's all we can do, that's fine. And then let me know if there's any other thing I can help you with. You have any other questions? I don't want to skip out on you. This thing is going to cut out in a second.
Okay. I'm a. I'll keep trying, kind of like trial and error using kind of what we talk about in the like real situations.
Well, shoot me a question, man. I mean, I can always send you videos too, but next week, maybe Monday, Thursday, we get together, something like this, or in person, whatever you prefer, and
Hmm.
look at the videos, rehash it, and then hopefully, and this will be up too. Then you can look at it, and if you got to revisit it, maybe to help, you know.
Okay, that's
Cool.
cool. Yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for your